So let's welcome back now on the new or on the old channel, on the E2GLIDE channel. We are now talking for 0 viewers.
Yeah, seems like we had some connection issues, but now we will try to stream here.
You can see now the Gaggle gained some height, and Lima Zulu and Tilo are quite in front of the main Gaggle and of the flatlands, so they are not that low as the numbers look like. On the 2D tracker, we can see it a bit better. So Tilo and Limasulu are almost at their turning points. Also Florian, together with the main Gaggle, gaining some height, and the wind will push him into his turning cylinder.
So Max, can you just sort of tell us what happened in the last couple of minutes and in what kind of stage of the race we are now?
We just saw that the main Gaggle circuit a bit over the Erzgebirge. Limasulu and Tilo didn't follow them. They just flew straight out of the Gaggle to the turning point, which wasn't a bad decision so far. But
And now have a look.
yeah.
Jan and George are really seeming, and also Matthew are really seeming that they have got a very good thermal. So they were all down to 900 or 1,000 meters, but now they're up to 2,000 meters.
Yeah, Jan now got 2,000 meters. This might be a big advantage for him. Florian also got really good climb rates and is back to 1,400 meters almost. And Luca and Tilo just have about something
have a look
around
at
1,000 meters. So that's a interesting situation now.
Have a look at Tilo and Luca. They seem to have missed the climb.
Yeah, but Luca is now circling and Tilo joining him just in the bottom.
Yeah.
We do have some slight delay on the 2D, on the 3D streaming and to the 2D streaming. What I must say is that Florian found that thermal right where he needs it, basically. He's on the edge of his cylinder. The wind is carrying him into the cylinder, and if he's just patient a bit, he can then just simply continue on his way towards the second turn point.
Matthew also is in a quite comfortable position right now, 2,000 meters almost, and still climbing.
Yeah, the height differences are really, really big. We have around 1,000 meters between Matthew and some of the guys who dropped a bit lower, like Tilo and Uli.
It looks like that Tilo wasn't able to catch Luca's thermal.
Also, Luca is leaving the thermal right now, I think. So they will be now forced to fly along the Czech Republic very, very low. The next turn point.
Just have a look to Robert. He chooses a complete different way to the second turn point.
Yeah, Robert.
He's quite a bit off the track right now.
Robert also one of those guys who doesn't need to go all the way to the center of the cylinder. He has the second biggest radius of the turn points, so he does have this advantage to maybe choose his path. He has more freedom to choose his path. Just north of the guys, also on your top left corner of the screen, you can see the big quarry where we saw lots of gliders thermaling yesterday. They will fly straight over it on the way back towards Germany in roughly 20 minutes.
So what do you think? So Matthews and Johannes, they're still a bit behind, but now they're up to 1,900 meters, so maybe this could be an advantage later on.
I think Matthew and Johannes are currently in the net lead of the race. They are the highest. They can fly. They don't need to take any risk at this point, while even though guys like Luca are way in the front, they are really low and they will have to circle very soon or use some of that electric energy they have available.
Yeah, also Florian is in a quite comfortable position in 1,500 meters almost, and on his way to the second turn point. In front of him is Robert, so if Robert catches any good climb, Florian will see it and might be able to use it. It's really exciting right now.
We see a really big spread for the basically a straight flight to the first turn point. We were used to gliders still sticking together all the way to like half of the task, to 3/4 of the task yesterday, but today, even that early, we see a lot of different strategies developing as we see Robert now turning sharply to the north.
Yeah, he might be trying to get into some sort of wave maybe. Maybe he spotted the area which looks interesting. But Also, it's very keen to fly off on his own in weather conditions like this because, of course, the other gliders see what he's doing, and if you're just a bit behind, this can be an advantage.
Maybe he does expect some thermals from the quarry you can see on your left now. If he gets it, he will get it a bit further west of the quarry, so where he's flying right now, and also the wind will then push him while circling towards the turn point he has to take.
Really interesting situation because on his left-hand side there's the airfield of Komutau, and if there is a wave from the Erzgebirge, the second wave is almost located right over the airfield of Komutau.
This is where Luca is flying right now. This airport is
No,
what you
no,
have in
no.
mind?
On the left-hand side of Robert and Florian, so a bit in the north. Yeah, they need to cross it on the third leg. Yeah, some in this area.
So this is where the pilots can expect some wave activity.
Yeah, maybe. Mark, do you got some of the videos from the guys before the start?
Yeah, we can prepare this for you, while I think it would be a nice time to update our German viewers on what happened in the last 50 minutes while we were away due to technical difficulties.
Ja, wir hatten ein bisschen technische Probleme, aber sind jetzt hoffentlich wieder für alle zu hören. Die Flieger haben jetzt den ersten Schenkel gut gemeistert, alle. Sie mussten übers Erzgebirge und mussten dann über die Kante springen. Jetzt sind sie im flacheren Gebiet in Tschechien wieder. Am Anfang waren sie alle sehr eng zusammen noch und es wurde immer die gleiche Taktik, die ähnliche Taktik geflogen. Jetzt sehen wir, dass es durchaus jetzt Unterschiede gibt. Also ja, Matthew zum Beispiel und auch der Johannes in der Delta 3, die bleiben eher ein bisschen weiter hinten, versuchen vielleicht ein bisschen höher zu kommen und sich das alles mal ein bisschen anzugucken, was die anderen machen. Wohingegen wir den Robert sehen, der im Norden ein bisschen sein eigenes Ding macht, vielleicht auch irgendwas gesehen hat, was interessant aussah. Und auch der Luca scheint heute so ein bisschen sein eigenes Ding machen zu wollen.
Okay, so let's go now to Thilo. Max was talking him before the start of today's task.
Ein neuer Tag, neues Glück. Endlich wieder mit Sonne früh. Das ist der zweite Tag, glaube ich, erst, dass wir mit Sonne im Grid die Zeit genießen können. Erzähl uns mal, wie du den gestrigen Tag so erlebt hast.
Ja gut, gestern war natürlich ein absoluter Hammertag. Also wir haben so intern gesagt, das ist so sächsisch Namibia. Wir sind also die Wolkenstraßen da gerade in Tschechien lang gebrettert. Das war also eine wahre Pracht. Zurück zu, es war ein bisschen schwieriger gegen den Wind. Da gab es dann auch zwei Optionen. Entweder, dass man also einen größeren Umweg fliegt, so 30 Kilometer südlich vom Kurs, gerade auf der Höhenlinie da vom Ausläufer da vom Erzgebirge. Da standen schöne Wolken und die Sonne stand drin und der Wind stand drauf. Das sah eigentlich gut aus, aber die haben nicht mehr so richtig funktioniert. Bessere Weg wäre gewesen, einfach mit Motoreinsatz genau auf Kurs nach Hause zu fliegen. So hat es der Matthew brillant gemacht, hat er von hinten dann gut aufgeholt. Aber das ist so typisch für diesen Wettbewerb, dass es einfach nochmal eine ganze Menge an zusätzlichen Optionen gibt, die man echt berücksichtigen kann, die man sich überlegen kann. Und das ist eigentlich auch der Reiz von dem Wettbewerb. Hat Spaß gemacht gestern.
Ja, das ist ja die Hauptsache, das mit dem Spaß. Das haben wir ja gestern in der Podiumsdiskussion auch schon festgestellt, dass der Spaß im Vordergrund stehen sollte. Heute geht es ja schön ins tschechische Becken. Markus, der Sportdirektor, hat gesagt, und so gibt es auch ein Kraftwerk und wir müssen ein bisschen wegen Fallschirmspringern aufpassen. Was erwartest du dir heute von der Strecke, die ja dann auch so quer über den Erzgebirgskamm führt mal?
Ja, da bin ich mal sehr gespannt. Wir haben starken Wind, werden da bestimmt heftige Leereffekte haben. Also vor allen Dingen den Sprung nachher wieder zum Flugplatz zurück. Also über den Kamm vom Erzgebirge praktisch durchs Lee durch oder ab den Querwinter durch. Das wird sicherlich spannend, ob man da, inwiefern man da den Motor sinnvollerweise einsetzt. Wir haben heute nochmal 0,5 Kilowattstunden mehr. Also das gilt zu berücksichtigen. Also ich glaube, es wird auf jeden Fall spannend. Warmluft ist natürlich jetzt nicht so energiegeladen wie gestern. Aber ich meine, das ist vielleicht gerade gut. Also ich denke mal so an so einem Brüllertag wie gestern, da hat man also jetzt diesen Motoreffekt nicht ganz so ausnutzen können wie heute an einem sicherlich schwächeren Tag. Ich denke mal, bei einem normalen Segelflugwettbewerb wären wir heute wohl eher nicht geflogen, wenn ich gerade so die Wolkenbasis anschaue. Also, aber hier mit Hilfe.
Okay, that was Tilo speaking with us earlier today. We will translate this for you a bit later, as now we can maybe focus on what happened while we were listening to that. We saw Florian having a really, really strong thermal north of everybody else, while Robert flew exactly over the same area, could not find it. He's now still also circling, but way, way weaker than what Florian is having. While in the front of the pack is now Luca, who dropped really, really low. He's at 688 meters, and elevation around there is around 200 meters.
Yes.
Yes, and Luca is not the only one who is struggling. Also, Eric seems to be having a bit of problems, and also Tilo is not very high anymore. So, in the last kilometers, there were some important decisions because they're approximately at the same spot, many gliders, but there are altitude difference of 600, 700, 800 meters. So now we're really seeing that some decisions really make a difference.
It's going to be very difficult for Eric to find a thermal here, even though he can see Florian above him. The wind carries the thermals quite a long way.
Yeah, I could imagine that this could be quite frustrating now for him, seeing the others pushing on and being so low and not able to push on. So I wonder if maybe you just turn that fest on for just a wee bit.
For Florian, it was a perfect spot for some thermal. He now has left just a few kilometers for his turning point and gained 700 meters. So not that bad. Also, Jan is really, really comfortable today. He's now in 1400 meters and catch some climbing. Matthew, 1200 meters, not that high as we saw some minutes ago. Luca still wasn't able to find some climbing.
Yeah,
he
I
turned
think,
now against the wind.
Luca is in a really, really difficult situation
yeah.
right now. I think he was maybe pushing just a bit too much in the last leg and a half.
Yeah.
Also, he might be down on some luck in the last few minutes. We can see all gliders behind him have found good thermals. We see Tilo, Tangovisky, also Jan, all circling, and they're all circling different thermals, just close to each other. And Luca, who flew very close to where these guys are, just could not find it. Also,
the thermal of Robert is getting better.
Yeah, I was just trying to notice that, As we see, I think that is a horse racing track in the background.
No, it's a real car race track.
That's a horse racing track, but I think you mean there is also a car racing track in City of Most.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a nice sightseeing tour for Robert, definitely. Seeing all the interesting stuff in Czech Republic.
Look at Florian now; he's gaining more height.
Yeah, maybe using some faster, maybe catching a beginning of a thermal. Wave at that height. That could already be possible, maybe.
He will join Robert's thermal in a few seconds. He will just pass it, maybe, and
he does not need to go that far into the cylinder. This is one of those things that he has to think about. Is it worth it to maybe go a bit further?
No.
Probably not, especially not from his height.
He's so high.
And probably
Jan
has some
also
energy.
gained 700 meters again.
Let's focus on him for a second.
And have a look on Giorgio. That's tactical. A really bad position. He got now some small thermal, and it's pushing him far deeper and deeper into the turning cylinder.
Yeah, Luca might be high enough though to catch Robert's thermal. If we go to the 2D view, we can see he is now flying directly towards Robert. Also in the background on the left side, I can see Eric now found a thermal. I think maybe the same thermal Florian had before, but he's way, way behind. He has fallen all the way to the back of the group while also being the fourth lowest glider.
Yeah, very interesting from Luca. From our perspective, it obviously looks like a big detour, but he's pushing on against the wind, so this does not need to be a disadvantage. If he manages to get a good climb, then all of a sudden he's back in a good position again, so this will be very interesting.
I'm sure he can see Robert now already, and he can probably also find the thermal a bit easier than some other guys have the job to find it before, as he can fly towards the wind and hopefully catch the beginning of that thermal.
And now we get a similar situation to yesterday. Florian turns the last turning point and is now in the lead.
Yeah, it's
and he's followed like every day from the fast guys. So It's going to be interesting to see what Robert will do after his thermal, and also Luca. If he's able to catch a good climb, as Moritz mentioned, then he's in a pretty good position, I think.
Yeah,
Also,
but just have a look at the displacement from Georgia and also from Robert.
yeah,
This
crazy.
is quite a lot. So I wonder what kind of wind speed these guys are facing. So especially in the last leg, this will be very hard for them because now they're coming from the low terrain and they have to get back into the higher terrain. So
We can maybe check the ground speed of some pilots flying. So we can see Luca now. He has quite stable speed of 90 kilometers per hour ground speed. So you usually fly Ventus at around 140 if the weather is bad, 130. So probably a really high wind speed there.
yeah, I wouldn't expect him to fly less than 140. So this does seem like 50 kilometers of wind at least.
Yeah, and he's flying straight into the wind, so and also flying completely straight. So I think this is a really good indication of what current wind speeds are. If we look a bit further back, Bob will soon reach his first point, maybe taking it a little bit more easier today. While Eric has gained a little bit of altitude, but is still far behind the rest. Also, one of the guys we haven't mentioned a lot today, Stefan. He is the lowest of the group that's currently circling inside the turn point, but at least he has some thermal at the moment, and he can see a big group above him who can also show him thermals in the future when they will probably leave the thermal before him.
Yeah, I talked to Stefan this morning and he was in a very good mood and he was, yeah, I think he was ready to make up some of the time that he lost in the previous days. Of course, this is the first time for him to fly the Shark. He's used to fly other different 80-meter gliders. So he said maybe he just needs a bit more of adjustment time for the Shark. So this might be the reason why he's hanging below today a bit.
Let's have a look together on Jan. Jan turned the second turn point at a quite comfortable height and is now on the way back. He still got 1,500 meters, and with the Antares against the strong wind, might be not the worst glider for this competition now. Florian still is in the lead. Robert got a pretty good thermal. He almost got 1,700 meters. Luca still struggling.
Luca could
low.
not find the thermal Robert had. He is way past it right now. I don't think he will be able to find it at that altitude. He will have to find something on his own, while he will have to gain some altitude to cross the mountains. And right now he has a good meter of climb that makes me think that he's probably using the energy, his fast motor. And I think this is actually the point where we all kind of expected the gliders to use that first boost of energy.
Also für die deutschen Zuschauer mal ganz kurz, wir haben jetzt, denke ich, eine ganz spannende Situation. Die ersten Piloten haben ihre zweite Wende erfolgreich gemeistert. Florian ist vorn, gefolgt von Jan und von Luca. Luca kämpft immer noch in einer relativ niedrigen Höhe und scheint jetzt mit dem FES-System aber erstmal wieder ein bisschen an Höhe zu gewinnen. Jan mit der schweren Antares hat natürlich jetzt gegen den Wind große Vorteile. Und Florian mit der leichten Silent, kurbeln kann er sich, glaube ich, jetzt nicht mehr erlauben. Ansonsten drückt ihn so weit zurück, denn der Versatz von Robert zeigt, dass da im Tal sehr starker Westwind ist. Wir sind gespannt, wie die Jungs jetzt das FES-System gegen den Wind einsetzen und hoffen auf ein wirklich spannendes Finish. Und eigentlich ist dafür heute alles angerichtet, würde ich sagen.
Yeah, so Max, looking at the current situation, who do you see in lead at the moment?
Currently, I would say Florian is in the lead, but he will struggle a lot flying against the wind. And personally, I could never say that Matthew is not a favorite to win, especially in performances he put up in the last few final glides.
But today he's quite a bit in the back right now. Maybe, yeah, he turned.
He's the leading glider of this group that follows Florian. He is also quite high. We did, I think, lost a signal from Jan for a bit. He's also in a strong position, although a little bit lower than everybody else. So I think it's going to be between Florian, Jan, and the group led by Matthew.
Yeah, I think this is the group currently in lead. So we have Matthew, we have Thilo in there, Giorgio is in there, so and also Johannes. So these are all gliders with 18 meters, and Matthew in his 50-meter Diana. So I would expect this group to maybe, stay in the lead over the next kilometers.
Before the gliders start crossing the mountains back to Germany, we have a short interview with our yesterday's daily winner prepared for you. Max was talking to him before the launch.
Jan, du hast gestern grandios hier das Feld gerockt. Verrat unseren Zuschauern nochmal, was dein Geheimnis gestern war, wie du alle anderen abgehängt hast mit dem schweren Bomber hier mit der Ataris.
Eigentlich ist es ganz einfach, man muss einfach nur sehr direkt fliegen, keine großen Umwege bei so einem Wetter und nie zu langsam fliegen. Und ich glaube auch, der Strategy war gestern ein großer Vorteil.
Was war gestern so der generelle Unterschied vom Wetter her, vom Flugweg, auch von der Aufgabe im Vergleich zu den letzten Tagen, wo du dich ja dann schon auch ab und zu mal ein bisschen schwerer getan hast?
Einfach, dass es mehr gereiht hat, man konnte viel besser die Linien fliegen und die Berge waren auch viel stärker, was bei so einem schweren Flieger dem zu.
Es gab ja einige Piloten, die gestern dann tatsächlich ein bisschen viel Energie verbrannt haben. Du hast nie dazu gehört. Wie hast du dein Energiemanagement gestern angesetzt?
Wie ich schon beim Briefing vor uns gesagt habe, habe ich eigentlich den ganzen Flug nicht den Motor benutzt. Und dann nur, wo ich einmal durch ein großes blaues Loch springen musste, habe ich ihn mit voller Energie benutzt und alles auf eine Karte gesetzt.
Spannend. Was erwartest du vom heutigen Tag? Wir wissen, es ist eine kurze Aufgabe. 130 Kilometer ins tschechische Becken. Was erwartest du dir heute?
Wenn die Berge wieder so stark waren wie gestern, denke ich, habe ich schon noch mal eine Chance mit dem Motor. Vor allem am Ende dann nochmal mit Rückenwind nochmal hochzusteigen und dann einen schnellen Endanflug zu machen. Wenn die Berge natürlich wieder schwächer werden, sind natürlich die anderen mit einer geringeren Flächenbelastung im Vorteil.
Dann würde ich sagen, viel Erfolg und viel Spaß heute.
Thank you, Jan, for those words. Could one of you please translate this for our English followers?
Yeah, in general, Jan told us how he managed to win the day yesterday. And he told us that he never used the engine for the entire flight. Just in the end, there was a big blue hole. And there he used his engine to get a big height and jump to the airport, which was a pretty smart decision, I think. And then he told me what he's expecting for today. And he told me that he's hoping for some strong thermals, so he had the chance with his heavy glider. And we now see him in the front of the main gaggle, followed by Limassolo, and Florian is a bit more to left hand. Florian is still the highest one. Jan is a bit lower, 600 meters lower, and Lucas still struggles with his height.
Yeah, Jan has a different propulsion unit than everybody else. So everybody else having the motor installed in the front that does not produce much drag when it's deployed, while Jan has to basically sacrifice some altitude when he's deploying engine and also when he's retracting back down. So for him, it's much more useful and much better to just use engine once. And I believe that this might be the moment when he will use it.
Yeah, this could turn out to be a real advantage for Jan because basically he's the only glider for whom it's really worthwhile to actually gain some altitude while having the electric engine on. So maybe he could just get out the engine and gain some 700 or 600 meters, and this could put him in a really good position to actually get that entrance to the Erzgebirge.
Yeah, Florian just did some turning to the west, a bit far from the course, and I think he tried to catch some wave there.
He is
because
climbing.
this is the location of the third wave of the Erzgebirge in general. So it's going to be interesting because you know the wave spots over there. We often had the chance to fly there. In the back, Matthew is also on a quite comfortable height.
Yeah, they caught up with Robert, and also the group of followers have kind of split. On the one side, we have Thilo, Giorgio, and Joachim, while on the other side, a bit further to the east, we have Matthew and Johannes and also Robert right now. We'll see which of these groups has a better line, although I think Matthew is now looking to maybe turn a bit to his left and join the group he was flying with a bit earlier. Lucas still very low. He definitely used some energy as he gained around 200 meters flying straight, but I don't even think he has enough height to climb over the mountains in this moment.
Yeah, also Jan is going to need some more meters. I think it's a quite exciting view. It might be a quite exciting view from his cockpit right now because he's directly ahead of the edge of the Erzgebirge.
What's the elevation at this point?
Yeah, 700 meters above main sea level.
So
Yeah.
this will definitely be a crucial point, I
Yeah.
think. Just catching the right thermal. And it seems like Matthew got a good decision once again because he was together with Thilo, if we just look back 5 minutes ago.
And now
Thilo's,
he's much higher, right?
yeah, he's gained some 400 meters on Thilo.
This is the look now from Jan. Well, virtual look. It does not look like this can work. And just for comparison, let's put... I wanted to put Lukai now, but I saw he's just starting thermaling. Let's see what kind of thermal he has, 1.3 meters, which is not that bad for the current conditions. While we can also see Florian climbing there, maybe using some of his energy, maybe starting to catch some of the favorable conditions that we expect above the hills once pilots cross into that territory.
Yeah, I talked to Florian before his start, and he told me his tactic for today. And he told me he wants to keep all the energy for the final glide against the wind. So I think he's using his fast system now. Jan is climbing really strong right now, so I think he's using his engine right in the moment because he got pretty low.
This is definitely, we can definitely see right now Jan using probably most of the energy he still has remaining, I would suggest.
Yeah, and now we are receiving some live images of the competitors. We will try to bring these images to you in just a second. But I can tell you that it's not looking so good for them. So the sky seems to be a bit darker. So there's not much sun getting to the ground. So yeah, it might just be for Jan just the right situation for him to actually get out his engine.
Yeah, let's show you the image, one of those we got. Who sent this one to us?
Yeah, I think this is actually Jan. So this looks like the cockpit from the Antares. And yeah.
Yeah, we do see some cloud bases. We also see some more sun towards the direction where he is flying. This is, I think, heading to the last checkpoint, I believe, or
yeah,
is this from earlier?
I think the Erzgebirge is right in front of him. He might still be in the lower terrain. This is, I think, the image is 3 minutes old. So just after that, he got out of his engine. And he's now at 1,400 meters, so he's definitely gained some altitude. He's still climbing, so the engine is probably still running.
Yeah, we do expect to lose a little bit of signal when the pilots are going to start to cross the mountains, but we expect good coverage similar to what we have yesterday. We do not expect the problems for a few days earlier to repeat, as pilots are flying much higher than in the first few days. Let's go to the 2D overview right now.
Yeah, but just have a look at Matthew. He's up at 1,800 and still climbing. So I know that today there's some wave, and he's got the wave charts on his LX. So this could turn out to be useful for him right now.
Yeah, it looks like Matthew is using the weather knowledge he has into his own advantage. Of course, logical. We saw that the group he was flying with now is turning more to the east, while he is able to follow the straight path, probably due to having more altitude.
Yeah, and I mean, for now it's only 600 meters in difference, but this could well turn out to be above 10 minutes in the end, so maybe just a crucial point right now.
Yeah, when you fly over the mountains, every meter of altitude is much more crucial than when you are flying in flatland, like pilots were flying just a few minutes before. But here, 100 meters can mean the difference between you getting over some ridge or maybe having to go back and find a thermal.
Okay, so if we have a look at the back of the field right now, there's still Eric, and he still seems to be struggling a bit. He's down to 800 meters again, and he's lost maybe around 10 kilometers to the others.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good day for Eric today, sadly. I doubt he can catch the difference up in the remaining kilometers of the task. He still has 71 kilometers to our checkpoint. This is the last turning point, which is not handicapped, so all the pilots have the same radius. This turn point is just 5 kilometers away from our airfield. After that turn point, pilots can no longer use the electrical energy, and they cannot fly faster than 200 kilometers per hour. They are also prohibited from descending below the finishing altitude, which is 100 meters above the airfield here in Großrückeswalde.
But Mark, just let us have a look at the ground speeds, because then maybe we can have some sort of indication when the competitors will arrive at the airfield here.
Yeah, we can see around 100 is, I would say, an average ground speed of the pilots, and they still have around 80 kilometers to go throughout the whole task.
So I would expect them to fly maybe around 150, 160. So the wind is definitely quite high.
We can see Matthew, though, pushing much faster than everybody else.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I wonder what he's up to.
He does seem to be climbing, so maybe using some of the energy, but that would not make sense because you do not expect pilots to fly fast while they're using their FES system. FES is most effective in the speeds from range from minimum of 80 kilometers to maximum of 100 kilometers per hour. Of course, they can also use it at speeds up to 160 kilometers per hour, but it's just throwing away the energy as a pitch of the propeller is not designed for that kind of speeds.
Yeah, but now he's pretty slow with a small ground speed. I just had a look outside and watched to the direction they are coming from, and it looks quite promising, I have to say. There's not that much higher clouds now left, and I'm really sure that they will be here in a few moments. It's not so far away, especially Jan, Matthew, and Florian.
Well, I do think Florian is in troubles right now. He is the highest, but with such a long distance still to cover, and with him having that smaller handicap factor, I do not see him as a favorite to win anymore.
No, especially against the wind, it could turn out useful to have a high-performance glider. So if we have a look at the leading gaggle, well, we still have Matthew fighting on his own, but then we have the group with Tilo in the discus, we have Giorgio in the Ventus, and Tango Whiskey, which is Joachim, also in the discus. So maybe these guys can use their gliders now to actually fly a bit faster against the wind, and this could be an advantage.
Yeah, let's look at the wind at 1,500 meters right now. We can see the wind direction maybe shifting a bit more to the south, so not so much headwind anymore for the pilots.
Yes, that's definitely a factor, and also this will change the whole wave system. So we saw the pilots gain altitude in thermal waves before the start, but when the wind turns a bit more to the south, I would not expect the Erzgebirge to give so much wave anymore.
We were talking about waves a lot today. This is the satellite image of the clouds. You can see that where we are, not so many waves, but further south we can see a really nice structures of waves already from the satellite.
Yeah, especially over the whole area of southern Germany, so in the Nuremberg region, but also close to the Odenwald and the Pfälzerwald. So you can definitely see that there are high wind speeds. And also, if the wave system is not set up here properly, there can also be large areas of sink as well, just induced by the strong winds. So this is definitely a factor which the pilots have to remember.
If we go back to the 2D view, we can now see Jan overtaking Florian. Also, Matthew will soon pass Florian. And that group we were speaking about with Tilo is also chasing close behind. Luca still, I think, flying on his own. Let's find him in the 3D view. He has fallen a bit behind. He now caught up with another Slovenian, Jerne. He has been flying very quietly today, not much news from him. Although Jerne is higher than, actually at the same height as all of the pilots in front of him, he still has a chance to maybe catch up with Tilo and Giorgio.
Yeah, I really see Jan in a very good position right now because he was able to do that big altitude gain with his engine, and against a strong headwind, I think the pilots will be very reluctant to actually use the FES because, as you said, you don't want to use it at airspeeds above 100 or 110 kilometers, and against the wind, you'd only fly 60 or 70 kilometers ground speed. So you carefully have to judge when to use the FES.
We can see
Matthew is now definitely in the lead. He's much higher than everybody else.
and still gaining.
Yeah, he's using his FES as as maximum as possible, I think.
But you do not wanna stay high as the wind speeds are higher there. That might not be the best.
Yeah,
thing
he's
to
not
do.
a motor pilot.
To me, it looks like he really caught a very good energy line, so he might have seen something which the others didn't see, and he's going real slow, and so maybe he's just using this good energy line. He's turned on the FES, and this could already provide him with final glide.
If he is one of our top 3 finishers, he will of course give us the interview, which will be play here in the live stream for you guys. And Max, I think, will be doing those interviews. I'm sure he will be able to ask him some good questions about when he used the energy and why.
Yeah. I think there are, for Matthew, 25 kilometers left, something like that. And also for Jan, he's a bit in front. So the height should be enough for Matthew, Florian, and Jan. But yesterday, Florian also thought the height is enough, and then he was stopped by the headwind. Maybe we can show the finish high. Mark, maybe you can change to the needed finish high for the competitors.
Yeah, of course. Just a second.
So while we do that, let's just have a look what Eric is doing. He's still in the back. He's still down to, I think, 800 or 900 meters. So even if he has the FES, it could become very challenging for him to actually get home today because against the strong wind and with lots of sink, you cannot rely on the FES to get home.
What are the outlanding opportunities in these areas above the mountains or the hills?
The guys from the Schwäbische Alb told us there are plenty of fields where you can land. From my experience, I would say it's difficult because with this strong wind today, there are a lot of dynamic effects due to the ground. So I wouldn't try to land out today, really.
The calculations on your right-hand side of the screen already showed that Jan and Matthew have the final glide to the airport, but I must tell you that these numbers are not do not take the wind into the calculation.
Yeah, very interesting. So this can be an exciting finish between Jan and Matthew, and I don't expect any of the others to actually get back to them because they have high-performance gliders. They are in the lead, so for everyone else from behind, it will be very interesting. And we see Matthew now flying at very, very high speeds against the wind. So he's definitely using the whole envelope that the glider is able to go.
Yeah, let's see if he's pushing too hard. He had a ground speed around 200 kilometers per hour. That's really, really fast. So maybe he needs the FES one more time after this.
But I think
pushing.
this is what he has to do because Jan is still 2 kilometers in front, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit
No,
flat.
he passed him. Jan made some circle we saw on the 2D tracker.
Yeah, we have a 2D tracker just around half a minute in front of our 3D tracker. We can also look at the situation that evolved a few seconds ago on a 3D view right now. I think Jan thought he found the thermal, but he just made one circle and continued on his way.
So Jan has a big disadvantage right now because he is not able to use his engine during the straight flight as well as the Diana can and the Silent 2 can, and he's now a bit lower than the 2 guys next to him. This is going to be exciting position right now. He seems to have enough height for finishing, and we will see.
But we could have this exact same situation like yesterday.
Yeah.
So Florian is in a very good spot, but he's being chased by the Ventuses. And we already saw yesterday that they were able to push quite hard against the wind. So who do you see in for third place at the moment?
Well, for third place, I would still say maybe Florian, as the height difference is huge. Let's put maybe the altitude back on your screens. We have, let's say, somebody from that pack of Ventuses, maybe Giorgio is 400.
Yeah, and look at Thilo, he's very low.
Yeah, they're both very low, also while being quite a few kilometers behind.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I'm really excited to ask Thilo how this view might be right now, because underneath there are a lot of hills and small valleys with this strong wind. There's a really crazy dynamic situation going on, and we see now that Matthew is in a really good leading position, and Florian catches up to Jan right now. So,
but also Robert, he is very low. So Johannes seems to be in a good position right now because he's approximately 700 meters higher than Robert in the LS8. So maybe he's able to actually get a good result today.
Yeah, for me, I think the favorite right now is, as in the last days, Matthew. I think he is followed by Jan or Florian. We will see. And then the race will be between Tango Whiskey and Delta 3.
I think the race today will be definitely how much time can Lima Zulo and Robert with 7-1 catch up to Florian, because as it looks like right now, they are losing their podium places to him. Maybe if we look at the results, the total results, we can see who is in biggest danger right now regarding the situation we have. Eric as well.
Eric will definitely drop to the bottom. Yes, I see that as well.
So I think Delta 3 and Tango Whiskey are now in a really good position. Also, but Delta 3 with that 70 minutes behind that will not. He cannot catch that one up.
Yeah, but Jan will take some places, I think.
Joachim definitely with Tango Whiskey could maybe even go for a podium today, total podium.
Nah, Jan even is in an even better position.
But he is 70 minutes behind in total.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. Yeah.
I think what I expect is that Luca will drop from second place today, and we see Robert and Florian still doing pretty well today. So I think together with Matthew, these will be the three guys we see on the podium.
Well, but Robert now just above the terrain. Let's maybe see how his view is right now. That's not really good.
No, that's not comfortable in any kind of way. But let's concentrate on the lead. Yes, that's a view from...
That's a better view.
Matthew, he's just passing the finish line and has to go to the checkpoint. So for me, it's time to go outside for the interviews. And
Matthew, he's definitely got enough energy left because right now he's pulling up, but he was flying at 160 kilometers. So against the wind, that's 200 kilometers, and he wouldn't fly at that speed if he hadn't enough energy left.
Okay, as Max has left us to do the interviews with our podium finishers, we will also try to bring you a live camera of the finishers in just a few moments. I think the podium spots are pretty much given.
Yes, so Mark, maybe we can finish. We can have a look at the 2D view again, and maybe just see who's sneaking in for third place right now.
Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting today. I think we have a fight between the group that's been following the leaders the whole day.
Oh yeah, and look at the race between Flo in the Silent and Jan in the Antares. It's obviously not a fair race. So we have a glider with 20 meters against a glider with 13.5 meters. But I'm sure Florian is determined to keep pushing.
Definitely. He still has a point to prove. We have actually our last 2-day winners here, I think, on the screen. Both have proven really well. We have gliders from a different end of the spectrum, but now just 600 meters apart. I was honestly expecting Antares to be gaining more than he is.
Yeah, and Florian is still 100 meters higher, and I think 600 meters at the speed they are flying. This can be quite much, so I would think that maybe Florian can pull second place off.
Yeah, we did not expect that, especially 15 minutes ago. Matthew, again, pulling in an awesome performance. He will cross the finish line very, very soon. We still do not have the live cam, so we might miss this one, sadly. But we still have quite an exciting race for the second place. I think maybe if Florian still has some energy left, he can use it now, while Jan definitely cannot open engine now and use, even if he has some energy left.
Yeah, this could definitely be an advantage. And maybe if we have a look back, so Tilo was very low just a couple of minutes ago, but he's back up to 1,300 meters almost, so he seems to have gotten himself out of trouble.
Yeah, let's go to Tilo in our 3D view. Is he the favorite for the fourth place, or would that be Georgia?
So I think Georgia would be the favorite because he's got the better glider. He's in the Ventus 3. Thilo can definitely see him right now. They're face to face, and for me, Giorgio is the favorite.
Yeah, while all of this is happening, Matthew is just crossing the finish line. Again, our race winner, he will extend his total lead. Congratulations, Matthew. Really good performance today again. And not only he won, he will also extend his lead by quite a lot, maybe few minutes, especially to Robert, who will probably be the second place finisher after today.
Yeah, very well done by Matthew. And I think we have lost coverage of Jan in the Antares, as it has happened the days before. So maybe we'll just have to wait for the live camera to see whether he's in front of Florian.
He is not. I think we just got some signal back. They are flying really slow right now, so maybe they're both struggling for altitude. Maybe they were pushing a little bit too much in the minutes before.
Yes, that could be a point, but Florian is a bit higher, and they have once they turn and then they have wind from behind, so it could just be enough.
Yeah, I do also think it will be enough. If we look at the group that was following our leaders, we have now. Well, Georgia is not gaining that much on Tilo. Actually, he's losing also in the back. Johannes has caught up with them.
Yeah, this is very interesting and very good placement by Johannes, but he's a bit lower than the two guys, if I'm right. So I don't know why he's pushing that hard, or maybe why Georgia is not pushing that hard.
Yeah, it also comes down to the confidence, how accurate you can be on the finish line. Some pilots still deciding it's not worth it to race for the 5-6 seconds and rather just maybe cross the finish line 20-30 meters higher and be on the safe side, not getting any penalties.
Yeah, that's right. And we also know that Tilo has a lot of Grand Prix experience, so he definitely knows these finishes. And I think he also enjoys them, so he will be having great fun right now.
Yeah, as we can see, Florian has mastered his final glide in the last few days. He hasn't flown silent before this competition, but now, just after 1 week, he was able to beat Antares in a straight-up fight. So really good performance by him. And maybe at the back, Tilo will overtake Jan. Is that possible?
Very interesting, yes. It could just be possible. And now Georgios also pushing.
This will be a really exciting race now for the third place. We did not expect that. Also, Jan, I think, has decided to push a little bit more. Pilots can see each other on their farm displays. They know roughly how far they are apart, and they also know the altitude other pilots are at.
Yeah, can we have a view of the difference between Tilo and Giorgio?
Yes, of course. So just a second.
So Giorgio is really flying quite fast now. He's 240 above ground, and you can see he's really getting up to Tilo.
Yeah, he will overtake him, and he might even overtake Jan. Well, no, probably not. He will not have enough space left. So Jan will be our third place finisher. In just a few seconds, he will cross the finish line. Congratulations, Jan, as well. As we see this really exciting race between two giants of our sport, Giorgio and Tilo, coming line abreast through the finish line in fourth and fifth place. Very good job by both of them. I think especially Tilo will be happy to have some good results now towards the end of the competition.
Yeah, definitely a very awesome race day. And let's have a look what Robert has been up to all this time, because last time we checked out with him, he was quite low. He was actually very far in front, but very low. So I think he might have just had to stop and gain some altitude.
Yeah, but he caught up back a lot, and this will keep him in the podium positions going into tomorrow probably. He's flying very slow, so he might not be that confident that he can make it in the situation that he is right now. As we see our next finisher, Delta 3 of Johannes, very good flight by him. He was never in the front today, but always there around and really consistent flying that brought him to the finish with not many seconds behind pilots around him.
Also, looking at the aircraft that the top finishers today are flying, we have a really high mix. We have a Ventus, we have a Discus, a Shark, also the Diana, and the small Silent that Florian is flying. So this really seems to show that the concept with the different radius at the turn point seems to be quite good.
Yeah, we had a panel discussion yesterday. For those who missed it, it was broadcast live on our YouTube channel and is still available to view. Some of the really important people in our sport have discussed how to make the e-gliding even better for the future, and I warmly recommend you to see it. As Stangowiski of Joachim has now just crossed the finish line. With this result, he will come much, much closer to the podium positions. I think he will be the guy who maybe gained the most today in overall standings.
Yes, that could very well be true. But for now, let's have a look what Eric has been up to. I think he still hasn't crossed the Erzgebirge yet.
No, he's stuck on the other side, maybe without any electric energy left. And also, maybe let's see what happened to Luca. I can see him being one of the highest pilots right now. It seems like he's in the final glide right now, together with Stefan. But he's losing time every second. He's not home yet.
Yeah, as we expected this morning, this was a day where some pilots really really lose quite a lot of time. And so Eric, in the end, he will probably lose around 40, 50, or even an hour. So a very hard day for him.
Yeah, Eric and Luke, I think the biggest losers today. Also, Robert not doing too well. Well, we have, I think, best finish for Jerne of this competition. Really consistent flying from him, never pushing too much, playing it a bit safe, but that brought him home in front of his friend Luca. They were flying together for some time, but at the end, Charlie was able to pull in front and now finishes the task successfully. We do have a flight director here telling each pilot when they have a successful finish, so they know they did well. Penalties for finishing too low will apply after the scoring is completed, but we do not expect anyone to have these penalties, as none of the pilots was struggling to jump across the finish line so far.
Yes, I also think Jörni will be quite satisfied today because he managed to reach the final just a few minutes behind the leaders.
Also, quite solid performance for Stefan today compared to the last few days, but I'm sure he will want to score even higher tomorrow if we fly.
Yeah, I mean, he's improving. Maybe now he's had some more time with the shark, and maybe tomorrow will be the day where he's finally able to really get into the top spots.
And this is what I found really impressive about Florian. Florian is the beginner in both ways. So he has never flown silent before this competition, and he has never flown an e-glide competition before.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's actually true. So I know that I think it's true for the E-Glide, but he competed in the 13.5 meter World Gliding Championship.
Yeah, but with mini luck, I think.
Oh, that's true. But maybe he can just use his experience from flying these small gliders over here. And I think that's what he also told me before the start, that he really likes to fly these small gliders. And he said you can really feel those energy lines and really sort of adjust and do small turns and really follow the lines.
Let's follow Robert now home. He, as you can see, with his speed, he's able to push a little bit more. I would say this is around 160 indicated airspeed, as they do have a component of tailwind at this point. Let's look maybe a bit at the back. Somebody who we have not mentioned at all today, actually, is Uli.
No, really. We haven't talked about Uli today. I don't really know if he flew on his own or if he just lost track of the others at some point.
Yeah, we kinda lost him, but he will finish the task in just a few seconds, a few minutes. Okay, do you maybe, Moritz, want to summarize this exciting finish for our German viewers while I will prepare some interviews from Max and our daily winners?
Ja, dann nochmal, also die letzten 30 Minuten, das Finish jetzt für die deutschen Zuschauer zusammengefasst. Es war sehr spannend, also vor allem, weil die große Hürde, das Erzgebirge nochmal zu überqueren bei sehr hohen Windgeschwindigkeiten. Und da hat der Matthew es geschafft, das wirklich sehr gut zu machen. Er hat eine gute Linie gefunden, das FES im richtigen Moment eingesetzt und war dann auf einmal sehr hoch. und hatte dann sehr schnell schon die Höhe, um es nach Großrückerswalde zum Finish zu schaffen. Und auch der Jan, den wir schon gestern auf Platz 1 gesehen haben, konnte den Motor der Antares wieder gut einsetzen, konnte sich in eine gute Position bringen und eben auch ein sehr gutes Finish nach Hause bringen.
Yeah, let's go now to our daily winner.
Matthew, welcome back. You have landed first. Great flight. We had an exciting view on the live tracker. Just give us some words about the day.
Well, we saw it was going to be tricky from the start, and the leg home could be really, really challenging with such a strong wind. So I thought the most important thing was to conserve the energy for the beginning of the flight. So I really tried to sit back and keep an eye on the two big competitors to me, Luca and Robert, and just watch what they did. And I thought at some point they're going to have to try and do something different, and I just have to wait for the moment they do something different, and then I've got the decision: do I follow them or do I hopefully let them make a mistake? And I saw them both head off from the gaggle, and I thought, it seems like a bit too much of a risk. So sat with the gaggle, floated around first turn point, second turn point, and then I could see on the SkySight forecast, which I've got on the H9000 there, just a little bit of a rebound off these line of hills there. So as I hit that rebound, I tried to use all my energy climbing the lift there in the rebound until I got all the way above the clouds into the wave, good for a bit, and then VNE all the way home.
Crazy. I think you have done a great job today.
Thank you.
As we have the final gliders coming back to the finish, we will now go live to the award ceremony with our 3 daily winners. Congratulations, guys.
I believe we will find something small. So please take your step on place 1. Place 2 with some disturbing things while landing. Flo, you made place 2 without over energy, and the same is to Jan. So both Saxony Carter pilots are here again, and we are very happy about this because they on the lowest and on the highest end of the indexes and the middle. So something seems to be okay with the distance handicap, I think. What do you think?
I think it's very lucky that we're here. We're just
So let me hand over this bottles, cold enough to take a shower, but without me.
Oh, that was our award ceremony. We did get some champagne spray that we were missing that yesterday. It's always fun and interesting to see. We do have a short interview with our second place finisher, Florian. He was talking to Max right after landing.
Flori, bist ja da. Wie war das mit dem Wind und dem leichten Hobel?
Schwierig im Endanflug, aber ich hatte die Energie auf dem ganzen letzten Schenkel zur Verfügung und ich war immer.
Hast du viel verbraucht oder?
2498 oder so.
Bis das zweite über die Linie. Mal sehen, ob es so bleibt. Gratulation.
Danke.
Can you translate this to English, please?
Yeah, Flo said that it was very interesting in the end, but he had a bit of energy left, and that therefore it was quite relaxed. And I think now we have the interview with Jan ready.
Yeah, let's go to our last podium finisher, Jan.
Jan, welcome back. We saw on the tracking you seems to be the third one. Great job again. Was it a good day for the Antares or not?
Yeah, it was 2 straight hours and they reached E2GLIDE over the complete competition area. And with the motor, the last 600 meters I can reach, and so it was really fast.
Perfect. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, this was our last interview for today. Thank you for watching us. I hope it was as exciting for you as it was exciting for us. Don't forget to like the stream, share it, rewatch it. Join us again tomorrow when we have our last competition day. We will be back on the FIE Sailplane Grand Prix channel. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had today. and hopefully we see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.
Genau, vielen Dank fürs Zugucken heute. Es hat sehr viel Spaß gemacht mit euch. Morgen ist der letzte Tag, da sind wir auch nochmal live. Also macht's gut, ciao.